Welcome, everyone, to Mizpah's Becoming a Father series presented by the Boiling Point Podcast and JD Designs. I am your host, JD, alongside the new father, Mizpah. And on this series, we follow Mizpah on his journey about becoming a new father and how he navigates it and how he discovers how to be a new father. If you're just tuning in, please start this series from the beginning. It's a great series. Check out Marcus Frederiksen. He does the music, marcusfrederickson.com/ReverbNation, and share out some of his music. Mizpah, this is part 16 of our series. On part 15, Sammy had just turned 1. And now we're moving beyond the year now. The series is now officially beyond a year old. And even though the Boiling Point Podcast is kind of new, getting into the series a little bit, it is the longest running series that we have. And from both our shows, even our sister show, Mayhem Media, shout out Mayhem Media. I got a podcast to do later with Friends of the Squared Circle. Shout them out too on this episode. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So Mizpah, how have been things going since the party?
So since the party, we've had a couple of curveballs thrown at us. Sam, I'm pretty sure that she's cutting another tooth. She spiked just a low-grade fever. Like the highest was 100.6, but it's been running in the mid-99. No other symptoms. No stuffy nose, no cough, she's not messing with her ears. She doesn't seem like she's sick at all, other than this random fever. Which it's been interesting because if you talk to the doctor says that babies don't get fevers when just from getting a tooth that's coming through.
I thought they did. I thought that was common.
That's the thing. Anytime you talk to any woman who's had kids, they'll tell you that sometimes they do get a fever. So it's one of those situations where experience doesn't agree with medical expert advice.
How do you handle that?
I typically choose the experience.
Probably not a bad choice.
So, but that's just give her some Tylenol and then brings the fever down, and she seems to be doing all right. I've also been doing mandatory overtime right now, which has been so fun.
Yeah. Your schedule is usually rough when you're on mandatory overtime. And now that you got a kid, I mean, I think you've been on mandatory overtime one other time since she's been born, right? Is that right? Or
not since she's been born. I was on mandatory overtime, but I had some special circumstances that cut back the amount of overtime I had to work. So I kind of was in this weird limbo where it was mandatory, but not so much mandatory for me.
Okay, so that's interesting. So this is your first time. I think we talked about that you could potentially have mandatory overtime in another episode. So how's it been? This is your first time then with mandatory overtime, which happens to you at least once a year.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I mean, you work an 11, 12-hour day, sometimes more. And then when I get home, I'm just beat and starving.
Yeah, I mean, 11, 12-hour day, you must have got off early.
It's by the time I get home, I eat and then I try to spend a few minutes with her before she goes to bed. And then I round myself up and, relax for a few minutes, and then I go to bed and rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So what time do you get up in the morning?
I leave the house by 7.
You leave the house by 7.
So if I'm doing the morning
work, you have to be at work by 8.
Yeah, if I'm doing the morning overtime, then I have to leave the house by 6.
Is that part of this mandatory overtime?
We have mandatory hours that we have to get within the week.
Okay.
So like
so they let you.
Let's just say 10 hours, and they give us 15 hours available to get that 10 hours. So it's not a set overtime schedule, but you only have so many hours to get that time in.
Okay. So, and you're choosing to take it at the end of your shift right now.
Yeah, I'm not doing the morning unless I absolutely have to.
So you get to work at 8. What time are you getting off then right now with your overtime?
Usually right now it's at 7.
7?
But then we also are going to be working Saturdays.
So you're working 11-hour days. If you don't get off until 7.
Yeah.
And then how long does it take you to get home? An hour, because if your morning commute's about an hour. Yeah, if your morning commute's about 45 minutes to an hour, then your evening commute, well, at least at 8 o'clock it should be. It should. I mean, you're not going to. I hope you don't hit any rush hour traffic at 7 or 8 p.m.
That is the one bonus is traffic is a lot easier. There's a lot less of it.
But now, even with the time shift, we just turned the clocks back now. I mean, even you're going. What time do you normally get off? What time's your normal get off time?
4:30.
4:30. So you even now you're going to be driving home in the dark now that the time's been shifted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second because we just went to the time shift now. We turned the clocks back, so it gets dark at 4:30, not 5:30. How is that working for Sammy and for yourself for your work schedule?
It sucks. I hate this time of the year. I hate when it's dark when I go to work, dark when I get off work, and it seems like I never see the sun. But the overtime's been a little rough because, I mean, I don't get to spend much time with, the Breeze or Sammy. I see the house long enough to remember I have it. I have to sleep in it.
Yeah,
that's about it. But it is what it is. It's it won't last forever.
Yeah,
and the extra money will be nice.
Yeah, I have no. That's usually what you hear from people who are working overtime. That's usually they're like, oh, the money will be nice, but with a new baby and stuff, it's still got to be rough to handle that schedule.
And I can tell that Sammy notices something's a little different because, like, for example, tonight when I came home, I came in and picked her up and gave her a hug and sat down on the couch a little bit with her, and she snuggled like right into my neck and just kind of wanted to snuggle with me. And she has this thing where she'll like rub your face and kind of pat it a little bit, and she did that for a long while, which at this point in the game isn't really something that she normally does. It's like, oh, hey, glad to see you. Now I'm going to go that way.
Yep.
So
she's missing you a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Because like I said, she's usually pretty busy, pretty mobile, doesn't want to sit still. She's exploring. She's learning what's in her world, basically.
Yeah.
And so she took time to stop doing that for a little bit today, which, kind of let me know that she was missing me.
Yeah, but that's also nice though, that you get that then, that's good. Hopefully, and it's only going to be for a couple of weeks then?
Yeah, like 3-4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks.
And that's because, I mean, they'll be doing overtime longer than that, but I'm actually going to be moving to a different area.
Okay.
So it'll
promotion?
be on yeah, I got a promotion.
Excellent. Well, that's great news.
Yeah, it'll in like 3-4 weeks, it'll be on them to figure out.
Yeah, that's got to be nice. That's got to, you got to be like, I'll just ride this out. I'll ride it out. It'll be fine for 4 weeks. I'm going to be out of here, and you guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like, I'll take that extra money, and I'll put up with it for like 3-4 weeks, and then after that, deuces.
Yep, I'm out. Yep. This is someone else's mess now.
It's not bad when it's, a short period of time. The last time I did overtime, we were on it for, like 5 months.
Yeah, I remember the last time. Yeah,
that was a grind.
Is your new department going to have mandatory overtime, or is that unlikely?
It's unlikely that they'll have overtime for like that long of a period. There might be periods where we might have overtime for a couple of days, just to kind of get like a special project or a seasonal project taken care of. But outside of that, it's going to be normal work hours.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good news.
Yeah, it's for me. It is. That gives me more time at home and more time to spend with the family.
Yeah. Well, that's great news. So I think is there something else that you wanted to cover?
Well, actually, something funny happened today. So now that she's turned 1, her vocabulary is starting to grow exponentially. I swear almost daily at this point. Sometimes she'll say something once or twice and then we don't hear it again. But then she's starting to say look, and like she's pointing to things and trying to hand us things now. Like she wants us to take interest in what she finds interesting.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see more interaction.
That's good.
Which is, it's really cool.
And now you get to look at everything.
Yeah, there's that. But the last night she was definitely mad at Mom.
Oh.
We were in the kitchen and it was dinner time, and she was throwing a little bit of a bully fit, and Mimi was feeding her. Well, Mom came into the kitchen and said something about no bully fitting, time to eat. And she looks at her and goes, "Get out."
No kidding.
Yeah. Look, looked right at her and went, "Get out."
Oh man, what are you doing letting her watch Terminator 2? She's too young for that.
I was completely useless. I was absolutely no good whatsoever.
You probably had to leave the room.
Oh, I was rolling.
I think now, of course, I don't have children of my own, so I don't know for sure. But I would imagine that you probably don't want to be doing that in front of her when she does stuff like that. You probably want to step out of the room to have that laugh.
I was in the living room cracking up.
Yeah. That's great.
It's a little hard to yell at her when I'm holding my sides laughing.
Yeah. She's 1 year old and she's already pulling out the T-1000.
Yeah.
She's already pulling out the Terminator on you guys. You guys are screwed. You're done. It's over. That's it. She runs the house. I told you it was going to happen, and here it is.
We've got a Scorpio, a Leo, and a Bull living in the same house.
Yeah. And
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, one of them is taking cues from the Terminator. So well, and my money's on her. It's been on her since day one, and now that she's mimicking the Terminators, that's just all the more reason. I think the odds are 10-1 in her favor.
So right now we've been having a little bit of a problem trying to get her to eat her baby food, even though we're in the later stage at this point. She's at that point where we've started being able to give her some soft, food that we're eating.
Yeah.
She doesn't have teeth to really, like, she has front teeth, but no molars to chew anything. So it has to be things that just kind of mush up.
Yeah.
But now that she's tasted that, she really doesn't want a whole lot to do with the baby food.
Would you?
So have you tasted baby food recently?
Nope.
Okay.
So in the previous episode, we did talk about how you tasted the baby food that you give her because you want to be able, I can't remember exactly how you worded the reason, but basically you don't want your child consuming something that you haven't tried yourself or you haven't consumed yourself for safety reasons.
Yeah, and checking the temperature, things like that.
You can check your temperature with your tongue and your lip. You don't need to actually put the baby food in your mouth. I'm calling shenanigans on that reason.
Yeah. Well,
I like the other reason better.
There's a bunch of reasons that
Yeah.
I do that. But yeah, I've gotten very good at shivering in disgust on the inside,
Yeah.
while appearing to be, oh, this is amazing
Yeah.
on the
I
outside.
imagine realistically your face looks like bitter beer face, but I'm sure she finds it humorous to see your face twist and distort like that while trying to go from "ooh, this is disgusting" to "hey, this is great," and
Yeah,
all the
pretty
everything
much.
that get your half your face doing that, and the other, yeah, I'm sure she finds it amusing, but
The other night when I was feeding her, all she wanted to do was eat her snacks. We have these little puff things that we give her as little like finger foods to get her to start feeding herself.
yeah,
And she just wanted to eat that. She didn't want to eat the food that I was trying to feed her, and she was throwing a fit. And I looked right at her. I said, "We're not going to play this game. You're going to eat your food."
and she looked at you and said, "Get out."
No, she looked at me and went, and then fussed
Well,
again after I gave her that bite. So I said, "All right, let's take a bite of this, and then I'll give you a puff." She did that, and then she thought she was getting another puff. I said, "No, I told you." And she just rolled her eyes, looked at me, and went,
yeah.
but
Oh man.
that was big to me because it showed she understood what I was saying.
Oh yeah.
So, and we're
And that's
starting to see more of that now.
yeah. Let's talk about that for just a second, because kids, how do you know you're a father? So how do you know when she doesn't understand something and when she's just playing like she doesn't understand something? Have you been able to try and figure that out yet? I mean, you knew this. I mean, clearly she understood what you were saying about the food because she was obeying, and all you were doing was using your words. You didn't have to show her anything, so she was understanding that. But prior to that event, because that clearly shows that she has comprehension and understanding skills that are she has capabilities of that.
Yeah.
So prior to that event, how were you able to decipher that at all, or was it just kind of hit and miss, or
So earlier on, there's very much like we would talk to her and like, tell her what we were doing or what we wanted her to do. And like we would kind of mimic ourselves to show
yeah,
her what we wanted her to do.
telling her and showing her that? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then we started noticing that we would say things and she would do them more. I don't know. It was kind of like parroting us to a degree.
Yeah,
And now,
mimicking you, like copying you.
yeah. Now we start like she just kind of got into a routine. She knows how to do the things. So, she knows when we sit down in the high chair, it's time to eat. So, like, she knows all that. She knows bath time. She knows the routines, and she knows what things she needs to do for those routines.
But how, now during that process though, how did you know, or has she been just a good girl so far, and just because that is something that kids and babies do, they see us do things, they want to do those things. But I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, have you been able to figure out when she is understanding things and when she's not?
For the most part, yeah. Now, would I say 100%? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But like, I can tell when in her body language when she knows what I'm saying and is choosing to more or less ignore that.
Okay.
Her body language, her demeanor, like, changes.
Gotcha.
If she's ignoring me outright, like, she won't just ignore me, she'll look away from me.
Yeah. So she's got tells.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Little things like that we picked up on.
That's good. Well, then that's good that you've been able to at least like kind of start figuring some of that stuff out. Because I imagine that would be one of the more difficult things. I think trying to navigate that. Like, hey, do they understand? Do they not understand? I mean, even with my nephew, he's 8 years old. Sometimes I don't. Does is he getting when you want him to learn something new, or you're trying to teach him to learn something new? Does he get it? Does he not get it? Does he need more
Yeah.
help? Does he need less help? It's hard to figure that part out, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's something that it continually is a development phase. I don't think you ever fully learn that. You just get better at it.
As you
Um,
get to know what your child needs, you'll know when he or she is frustrated and when they need some extra help,
right.
or when they're just playing and you know that they can do it.
And the flip side of that is, unfortunately, they're also learning more about you as well.
Yeah.
So you're learning how to pick up on their tells, and they're learning what you're picking up on.
Yes.
So
You have to be
it's a
yes.
constant.
You have to be very careful with that. You have to be very careful about revealing how you're going about correcting their behavior,
Yeah.
because if you do it the wrong way, then you're revealing their tell to them, and then they'll change it. Yeah, yeah, definitely,
So
definitely.
yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at now. We're starting to get more complex interactions with each other. And it's pretty cool to see and to watch her develop that. Now she's going from starting to go from that like baby phase to more into the toddler phase.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still baby,
Sorry, that was my
but
phone. If that might pick that up. Sorry, go ahead.
uh, but we're starting to see more toddler traits.
That's good. I mean, yeah, she's really coming along. Even the last time you guys were over. She's starting to point and look at things. She wants to interact. Yeah, it's really amazing to see. I mean, even just it's been a year. How's it been a year? And man, it's been a year. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Well, over a year at this point.
yeah, it's like man, how's it been a year already? And then you look at like the development, and you're like, man, she's really learned this much stuff in a year. So it's like both. You get the double whammy.
Yeah.
Like oh my goodness, time's going. How's it been only a year that she's learned this much stuff? And then at the other hand, you're like, wow, it's been a year. Where's it going?
I think we covered that in the last episode where it seems like time flew, but then when you look at what you've accomplished or what she's accomplished, I haven't really accomplished much other than,
Well,
I mean,
you're raising her, so yeah, you kind of
yeah,
have.
but she's done a lot more than I have. I've just
Yeah.
kept her from, hurting herself and
Well,
kept her fed and kept her butt changed.
isn't that part of being a parent, though?
But she's done so much growing and so much learning. And I mean, if you break it down into the things that she's learned, it's a mile long list, and it's astounding from that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then when you compound it, the fact that she learned all of that in only a year, it's that's just mind blowing
Yeah.
how fast it happens.
Yeah, it is. She'll be walking by episode 25 and driving by episode 40. So
Don't push it that fast. Come on now.
either that or we really slowed down the series. Let's hope not that either. But yes. Oh, is there continue or
No, that was pretty much the key points I wanted to touch on in this episode.
yeah, this is part 16 of our ongoing series here. Mizpah is becoming a father. Look for us. It's every other Thursday that these release on our YouTube station and our Rumble station, and eventually at some point in time they will be available on Facebook as well. So please leave us a comment. Leave us a comment. We can talk about it in a future episode. Share it out. We'd like the series to grow a little bit more. It does have a nice base. Thank you to all the regular viewers who watch these episodes. We do appreciate that. We didn't know what was going to happen or if this was even going to be people were going to want to see this series or not. And we have at least about 40 or 50 people who watch the series, and we appreciate that. So please continue to keep tuning in and share out some episodes. Help us grow the series. We'd like it to continue to grow.
Yeah, and as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to send them out, and I'll do my best to try to answer them or get back to you.
And we're going to get the Breeze on another episode. I promise. Okay. We are going to get the Breeze on another episode, but she's, the primary caregiver for little Sammy. So when she has time, we're going to try and get her on an episode soon. We've gotten some comments, and we've had some people ask about where the Breeze has been, because she hasn't been on any of the Mayhem Media episodes or the Boiling Point podcast episodes either. So people have been asking, hey, where is the Breeze? She is around. She's usually busy taking care of Sammy, or in this case, I bet she's likely sleeping. But
yeah,
we have talked about her getting on another episode. So we are planning that, and we are looking for a time to get her on again. So she's not going anywhere. Nothing has happened to her. She's just being, the caregiver of Sammy, and as soon as we can have her on, we will have her on again. Okay. She very much appreciates everybody, or the people who have been asking about her and leaving comments. She really appreciates. She couldn't believe that people were actually asking about her. So she really appreciated that. So thank you for that, and our viewers who continue to support us as we continue to try and grow, not just this series, but the Boiling Point podcast and our sister show, Mayhem Media. Give them another shout out. Mizpah, anything else?
I just want to thank everybody who is taking time out of their lives to watch this journey with me. I hope that you get some good information out of it and find it, if not anything, entertaining at the least. And thank you.
Yeah, the Boiling Point podcast, entertaining, educating, and informing since 2020. Follow us on Facebook. We're also on YouTube and Rumble. All you have to do is search the Boiling Point podcast. Our storefront is bonfire.com/store/the Boiling Point podcast. Pick up yourself some apparel. We also have coffee mugs. We have travel mugs. We have cooking aprons. We have tie-dye apparel. So pick up something, support the show. And Marcus Frederiksen, he does the music. Make sure you check him out, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen. And share out your favorite Marcus Frederiksen song, and use the hashtag #TheHumankind and normalize the good. And check out the apparel line that was created in his honor by his sister on Facebook.com/TheHumankind. TheHumankind. It's very important that you put the humankind in there, because if you just put humankind, you'll end up in the wrong place. So pick up some apparel from our storefront. Pick up some apparel from Mia's storefront, and thank you as always for supporting us. For Mizpah, my executive producer, I am your host, JD. That's the end.
Good night.